Part 107. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1061. Chapter 1061. What will Huo Linyuan do if the Huo family is finished? Lan Zhen kept Lin Na's words in mind. Writes. Having the right, even if Huo Linyuan no longer loves her, she can continue to hold the position of MRS Huo. Those who laugh at themselves. I must let them see that I am the happiest woman in the world. Recently, Lan Min really felt that the of fate was favoring him. The reason why I say this is because Huo Linyuan not only brought her into the company, but also asked her to participate in some things. Involve yourself in company discussions. Such a situation is something Lan Min would never dare to dream about. Lin Na, who was next to Lan Min, felt something was wrong when she saw this situation. It feels like there is really something good to watch. Gradually, Lin Na began to have expectations in her heart. After seeing Lin Na, the smile on Lan Zhi's face deepened. Lan Min knew very well that Lin Na had never taken her seriously. Those who had said some entitled words to her before seemed to be persuasion, but who didn't know that it was just showing off. Now she has entered the Li family and also got involved in the Huo family. Even according to Huo Linyuan's attitude, he may have to give himself rights. Ms. Lin, I'm really sorry. I've been a little too busy in the past few days. Hey, I've neglected you a little. Lin Na did not speak immediately, but looked at her casually. Being looked at by Lin Na like this, Lan Min felt really uncomfortable. Lan Yan even felt that in Lin Na's eyes, she was just looking at an object. It's really uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. Just when Lan Zhen was about to say something, Lin Na walked around her. I once heard someone say that you should treat each other with admiration after 3 days of separation. Now that I see this, it is true. I haven't even seen you before, and you have changed, and now you are the one with the most power. With such an exaggerated tone, Lan Min could still hear the sarcasm no matter how brainless he was. But in Lan Min's eyes, Lin Na's words were jealous. Jealous that she is like this. This made Lan Min feel very satisfied, and he immediately said, "What you said is really too much. How have I changed? If I have changed, what changes can you make? Now that Mr. Huo trusts you so much, and you are also fighting for the Li family's situation, why do I think you want to take control of both companies now?" Lin Na sighed inwardly after saying this. She really admires this woman now. Is this guy really not afraid of taking too big a step and breaking his balls? Involved in 2 companies at the same time. You have to know that the Li family and the Huo family have been fighting for generations. What does Lan Min mean by this now? Doesn't she think that she can own both companies? If this is the case, then she really admires it. Lin Na, please stop laughing at me. I don't have this ability. It's just that Linyuan believes in me. You also know that Linyuan's situation is very bad now. Hey, I don't have other abilities. I can only. Linyuan said some words of comfort to him. I have no other way but this. Comfort? The Huo family's situation is indeed not good now. If you are not careful, you will really be doomed. Hey, what will it be like if a person like Mr. Huo really has nothing one day? When I said this, I was really looking forward to it. Lan Zhi was incredibly shocked by these words. What is this and why is it happening? When Lan Min came back to his senses, he took a deep breath and then said, "You are talking nonsense. I'm just telling the truth. It's really not easy to lose the official seal, and how can you prove that your company will not lose the official seal in the future?" End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1062. Chapter 1062. Lan Min's character design has no surprises. and the public opinion is very bad now. Fans of that star are crazy about it, hoping that Sunian and Sun Ying's companies can resume production and let Mr. Huo stop the sanctions. This situation is to release Sunian, but who is Sunian, if he is still causing such a big disturbance inside? If Sunian is really released like this, then the situation will be even more difficult. Yes, Li Baikan is unconscious now, but the old man of the Li family is not a vegetarian. Although his son is in danger now, it does not mean that he will not do something. Lan Min is really getting more and more unhappy. Huo Linyuan, if something happens. So. Lin Na knew very well what Lan Min was thinking. But at this moment, Lin Na was really a little disappointed. After all, she once thought that this Lanzi was different from that material woman. She once investigated Lan Min. I know some of Lan Min and Sunian's past. I knew that Lan Min had always emphasized love over material things in front of Sunian. But the current Lan Min really doesn't seem to put love above material things. At the same time, I really feel that this Huo Linyuan is just like this, jumping around among so many women, but in the end he still picked this one. But just when Lin Na was sighing in her heart, Lan Min suddenly looked at her. Why are you saying this? Aren't you on Lin Yuan's side? What do you mean by this? What do you mean? With that look in your eyes, someone who doesn't know it might think you're looking at a traitor. Is not it? Lena. Well, Lin Na almost forgot that this Lan Min's brain circuit is not that of an ordinary person. She cannot understand her own thinking. Hey, if you really think so, then I don't have any objections to you. You should go find Huo Linyuan now and tell Huo Linyuan that I am a traitor. Let Huo Linyuan deal with me now. After all, there is someone the traitor is by your side. What if something happens? The contempt in Lin Na's tone really made Lan Min feel uncomfortable. It was as if she was sure that she would not tell Huo Linyuan. It would have been fine if Lin Na had used such a tone before, but now I am no longer the Lan Min before. I now have rights in my hands. Now that we have rights, then. Lan Min immediately walked directly outside. But before Lan Yan could take a few steps, he heard Lin Na's casual tone. Well, you are going to expose me. I can understand this. After all, you are Mr. Huo's pillow. Of course you have to protect yourself for the sake of the person next to me. You have to know that the reason why I can appear next to Mr. Huo seems to be because of you. After Lin Na finished speaking, Lan Min immediately stopped. Looking at Lin Na in disbelief, you are threatening me. What exactly do you want to do? I'm not threatening you. You don't seem to be worthy of my threat. I'm just telling you the truth. Don't forget your current situation. You have just gained Huo Linyuan's trust. Now you go and destroy it. Hey. Anyway, I won't do such a stupid thing, and Sunian won't do such a stupid thing either. But if you want to do such a stupid thing, then you can do it. I won't do such a stupid thing anyway. Matter. Sure enough, when Lin Na finished speaking, Lan Min stopped. And Lan Min looked at Lin Na in disbelief. What does this mean? Hold her. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1063. Chapter 1063. I understand your mood of being a villain. I understand how you feel when you are a villain now, but no matter how successful you are, you still need to have more brains. It's really not good for you to always do such mindless things. Lan Min's hands clenched into fists. Lin Na sat on the sofa in the office. Okay, I advise you to be more sensible. You obviously have a brain. Don't be like this. You are always so brainless. You are really not afraid of your brain being damaged, although the brain has no shelf life. Such a humiliation. Unbridled humiliation. Lin Na, that's enough. Don't say such things. If you can only say such things, then I hope you can go out. After all, you are completely wasting my time talking here. With such an attitude, Lin Na raised her eyebrows slightly. I just said that you are a villain, but you still think I am talking nonsense. Don't you think you are like this now? Lan Min is full of anger in his stomach now. But even so, what else can Lan Zhen do? Are you so angry now that you want to kill me? Well, if you really have such an idea, then think about how you can achieve your current idea. Don't tell me, you are just dreaming. Who do you think you are? Can you still deal with me in a dream? If you really have such ability, then you will not be such a weakling. So you still have to find ways to improve your current status. I really feel that being with you is really boring. You still have to find ways to surprise me. What else could Lan Min do? He could only look at Lin Na angrily. Lena was very satisfied with Lan Min's expression. This is what she wants. This will make this matter more interesting. Thinking of this, the corners of Lin Na's mouth raised slightly. Perhaps with Lin Na's stimulation, Lan Ji began to become more and more active and had to get involved in everything. Huo Linyuan's love for Lan Min became more and more. Leave everything to Lan Ji. Even gave Lan the right to attend company meetings. Under such circumstances, Lan Min's confidence is really growing. However, Lan Min has not forgotten the Li group. Although Lin Na didn't speak very nicely, she reminded herself. The Li family and the Huo family have been fighting for so long. If I help Huo Linyuan get the Li group, wouldn't my position as MRS Huo be stable? Anyway, Lan Min felt that if it really happened that day, then Huo Linyuan would definitely not have any doubts about him. Now Lan Yan feels that he is lucky. Maybe it is because God has really opened his eyes. God can't bear to see that I have been bullied for so many years. Finally willing to stand on his own side. When Lan Zhen came to Huo Group, I heard the employees say, Miss Lan is becoming more and more popular. Do you think she might become our CEO's wife? I think it's possible. After all, I heard that Miss Lan is pregnant. She came to the company even though she was pregnant and interfered in so many things. There are so many women around Mr. Huo, but only this Miss Lan has come here. Step. I heard that this Miss Lan is not from a well-known family. She can even be said to be from a bad family, but she is able to reach this point, which is really amazing. Of course it's awesome. If it's not awesome, how could it be like this? But I'm really envious. End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1064. Chapter 1064 Lan Min's satisfaction. These words really made Lan Min feel extremely satisfied. You must know that these people looked down on themselves in the past. It's better now. Sure enough, as long as you stand on a high place, no one will care about how you got to where you are. Lan Min was ready to appear immediately. But before Lan Min left, someone said again. But this Lanzi looks really innocent. I think she is the kind of honest woman, but I didn't expect that she is so good in bed. Hey, anything is good. It's useless for us to envy her. Mr. Huo can like her, and now the people in the Li group are also envious of her. But I heard that the president of the Li group doesn't like her. After all, there was such a big battle before, but I didn't expect that Lan Min would still be able to get the rights now, so I still can't believe some of her words. This also proves from the side that this woman is very capable. These words. The smile on Lan Min's face suddenly disappeared. If it had been in the past, Lan Min might have endured it long ago. But this time Lan Min didn't plan to endure it. After all, Lan Min plans to stand by Huo Linyuan's side in the future and become the only MRS Huo. Now that he is slandered by these people, what so-called majesty does he still have? When Lan Min appeared in front of them, those who had spoken before were stunned. After all, whoever speaks ill of others, likes to be heard. The people who had gathered together fell silent. Lan Yan looked at the person who just spoke with sharp eyes. What are you talking about? Can you tell me carefully? These words made me lower my head subconsciously when I spoke before. Why don't you talk? Is there something I can't hear? Is there something I can't hear? Is it your little secret? Ha ha ha, I want to be friends with everyone. You know my Linyuan's temperament is not very good. In normal times, if you really want to have as many straight men as possible, you should have as many straight men. If you have any opinions, just tell me directly and I will definitely tell Linyuan. Even after saying this, no one dared to speak. When Lan Zhen saw them like this, he immediately smiled and said, "Isn't it so lively as you just said? Didn't you say that I have skills? Don't you really want to learn my skills? Tell me now, if you're in a good mood, I might actually teach you." As soon as he said this, the faces of the people around him became even more ugly. After all, Lan Min is really quite popular now. If he really offends this woman now, I don't know what will happen in the company. What's wrong? Why don't you speak? In your eyes, am I not qualified to talk to people like you? I'm not even qualified. At this moment someone finally stood up and said, "Why are you so careless? What's wrong with what we said? Why should we be afraid of this woman? What's there to be afraid of?" The person who stood up walked directly in front of Lan Min. "You just heard us saying bad things about you, and you felt a little unhappy, so you came to trouble us. I don't know what other people think, but I'm not afraid. How much have we paid to be able to stand in this company? It took 10 years at least. We didn't graduate from a prestigious school, and we only joined this company after passing 5 levels. What about you? What have you paid for?" End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich John Word. Chapter 1065. Chapter 1065 Huo Linyuan, just because she is my woman. After hearing this, the people around him looked at Lan Min in a wrong way. And Lan Min subconsciously wanted to retort, "How do you know that I didn't pay anything, and you said nonsense? Then you should give us a good look at what you have paid and what qualifications you have to be able to stand by Mr. Huo's side and even be able to enter the board of directors. Do you have great work ability? What kind of cooperation can you win and what benefits can you bring to the company? Miss Lan, this is not only my doubt, but also the doubt of all of us. I also hope that you can be the same as ours." Statement. Faced with these aggressive people, Lan Min couldn't help but feel timid in his heart. But Lan Min knew very clearly in his heart that he could not be afraid now. If you really retreat now, you will really be doomed. I have no status at all in this company. Such a thing must not happen. Absolutely not. But, she really didn't know where she started talking about this. How to fight back. At this moment, a voice sounded from behind her. "Just because she is my woman." When this sound sounded, everyone was stunned. Especially Lan. Sure enough, when Lan Min turned around, he saw Huo Linyuan with a serious face. Huo Linyuan walked directly in front of Lan Min under everyone's gaze. Lan Jian subconsciously said, "Linyuan." But Huo Linyuan didn't give her a chance to say anything, so he said directly, "Lan Min is my woman, and she is my only woman. Based on this, it won't be a big deal even if Lan Min turns the world upside down for me. For me, nothing is more important than my woman being happy." This passage made Lan Min want to cry. You should know that Lan Min has been waiting for such words for who knows how long. When the person who questioned just now heard this, he subconsciously said, "Mr. Huo, you can't do this. You have forgotten that when we first entered the company set up many obstacles. Even the whole world knows that if it is true it's very difficult to join the Huo group, but doesn't it chill everyone's heart to be like this?" No one around him thought that this man was so bold. He actually questioned it in front of Huo Linyuan. You must know that no one has questioned him in front of Huo Linyuan for a long time. Who is this person? The person who is familiar with the speaker is also surprised. After all, in their eyes, their friend does not have such courage. What exactly is going on? Without exception, everyone subconsciously holds their breath. Just because I am Huo Linyuan, and just because this company listens to me, if you really have any objections, then you can leave my company without wronging yourself. The people around him took a breath when they heard this. What does it mean? Is this expulsion? The people who also spoke ill of Lan Min just now bowed their heads silently when they heard this. After all, the Huo group is very difficult, and they really don't want to be kicked out just because of such a trivial matter. Lan Min's voice rang out, "Lin Yuan, don't be like this, you really shouldn't be like this, they are just talking casually, don't be angry, I really don't have anything." Even though Lan Min said this, his voice sounded as aggrieved as possible. Sure enough, after Lan Min said these coaxing words, Huo Linyuan immediately held her in his arms. "Zhener, I will never allow you to say that. You are my woman. As your man, how can I let you suffer? Grief, if I really want to make you feel wronged, then I am not a man at all." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1066. Chapter 1066. The show is about to take place. The person who just spoke felt as angry as he felt when he saw Huo Linyuan like this. He immediately pointed at Huo Linyuan and said, "Huo Linyuan, you really disappoint me. I originally came here thinking I could realize my dream, but I didn't expect this. Ha 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 ha, why do I need to stay in such a company? Don't you just want to fire me and make your woman happy? I'm telling you, I'll leave on my own without you having to do anything." After the man finished speaking, he turned around and left. The behavior can really be as chic as possible. After that person left, Huo Linyuan looked around with sharp eyes and asked coldly, "If you have the same idea as him, then you can leave, the door of my Huo group is right there." But not everyone has the courage to leave such a good company. So after Huo Linyuan finished speaking, the scene was completely silent. Huo Linyuan was also very satisfied with the silence. "I understand your attitude. For the sake of Minur, I won't argue with you today, but if there is a next time, I will never let you go." After Huo Linyuan finished speaking, his eyes fell on Lan Min. "Jian'er, believe me, I am your man. I will never put you in any danger in this life, and I will definitely make you the happiest person in the world." Lan Min really wanted to cry when he heard this. "I really want to cry. God is so kind to me." However, after this incident, the entire Huo group, and even the whole world, can be said to know that Huo Linyuan cares about Lan Min. More thoughtful people compare Huo Linyuan and Li Baikan to see which man is better. But comparing it to the past, I still think Huo Linyuan is better. You must know that everyone who likes Cinderella stories is almost Cinderella. Who doesn't want to meet a prince? Therefore, Lan Min's status in the Huo family is getting higher and higher. Even to the point of walking sideways. But in a place where there is no knowledge. Huo Linyuan's personal secretary came to a secluded place. And there was a person who had been waiting for a long time. "Hey, Secretary Wang." Huo Linyuan's secretary, you did a good job this time. The man said cautiously, I am doing what you want. Can you tell Mr. Huo that what I said is to better complete Mr. Huo's mission? Secretary Wang, I understand what you mean. For the final effect, what do you mean by being so cautious? How could our Mr. Huo be an ordinary person? What you said is as if Mr. Huo is a stingy person. Yes, 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 I was wrong, I was really wrong, mainly because of Mr. Huo's behavior. I was really scared when I faced Mr. Huo, I really felt that my legs were shaking. What are you afraid of? Who is Mr. Huo? If Mr. Huo makes you like this, then how can he be angry with you? If Mr. Huo is angry with you, then who is Mr. Huo? Doesn't it seem that Mr. Huo is stingy? When Secretary Wang said this, the expression on his face was full of contempt. I understand, of course I understand. Then Secretary Wang gave many instructions. I understand, I understand, I understand very well, no matter what Mr. Huo asks us to do, we can do it. End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Zhang Word. Chapter 1067. Chapter 1067. Lan Min looks bad. Lanji's reputation is really getting bigger and bigger now. It can really be said that he is the envy of all women nowadays. After all, what kind of man is Huo Linyuan? For such a man, Lan Min, a woman with no family background and no background, actually took Huo Linyuan into her hands. Who doesn't think this situation is terrible? Lan Min's current situation can be said to be that when the wind comes, the wind will come, and when the rain comes, it will rain. But she also has a little bit of brain. Knowing that he has to stabilize the Li group now, started to pull people in frantically. I hope people in the company can stand on my side. If there are too many people, then even if Li Baikan wakes up, he will not be afraid. At least. In this situation, Lanji is becoming more and more high profile. She knew that Sunian couldn't be in there all the time. If Sunian comes out, then he will be really in danger. After all, that woman's mind will always think of different ways. Then make ruthless calculations. She couldn't wait for Sunian to come out while she was still so passive. At the same time, she also hopes that she can defeat Sunian. In this case, Lanner's behavior became more and more arrogant. As arrogant as you are. Finally one day, the police appeared in front of Lan Min. When Lan Min saw the police, his heart skipped a beat. Lanji subconsciously wanted to speak. But before she could speak, the policeman asked, "Are you Miss Lan Minlan?" "I am, what's wrong?" When Lan Min saw the police, his heart trembled subconsciously. However, Lan Min quickly adjusted his state. Sunian must have done it. You must never lose, and you cannot lose at all in terms of momentum. You are now suspected of stealing the official seal of the Huo group, so I hope you can come with me. These words made Lan Min stunned. Even though she was mentally prepared, she didn't expect it to happen like this. What does this official seal have to do with me? Why do you want to come to yourself? Lan Min immediately said, "You may have made a mistake. I have not touched the official seal. This matter has nothing to do with me. You may have made a mistake. Whether it matters or not is not up to you. As a citizen, you should have the right to cooperate with our law enforcement agencies. If this matter really has nothing to do with you, you are just wasting some time. But I don't know what an official seal is at all, and it's impossible for me to come into contact with an official seal, so this matter must have nothing to do with me." But Lan Min's resistance, in the eyes of the police, was resistance to the police. Even Lan Min felt that he was already a suspect in the eyes of these people. Such a situation made Lan Min feel really bad. At this moment, Huo Linyuan appeared. When he saw Huo Linyuan, Lan Min seemed to have seen his savior. After all, Huo Linyuan kept saying that before. I am now in danger. Then he will definitely not care about himself. So he immediately rushed in front of Huo Linyuan. Linyuan, Linyuan, they want to take me away. I know this, Minor. Just go ahead and I will definitely protect you. Nothing will happen to you. You just go with them. Just take a walk. But how can ordinary people not be afraid when faced with such a situation? End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 1068. Chapter 1068 Lan Min, Linyuan, I will prove it to you. But Huo Linyuan was very calm. There is no expression on his face at all, no anger, no worry. Huo Linyuan said to the police, I'm sorry, police officer, I want to say a few words to my girlfriend. My girlfriend is pregnant with a child now, so she is not in good spirits. Let me calm down first. These words suddenly made Lan Ji feel a little uneasy. What does this mean? What does Huo Linyuan mean? After the policeman nodded, Huo Linyuan hugged Lan Min and walked to the seat next to him. Linyuan, what's going on? You can't ignore me. I really didn't do it. Huo Linyuan hugged her while Lan Shi was chattering, Lan Shi, you told me before that you can do anything for me. Are you lying to me? These words immediately made Lan Min feel nervous. What does this mean? Lan Min, you have been with me these past few days. I think you already know what kind of situation I am facing now. If I really don't do anything now, I will probably be taken care of by Sunian and Li Baikan. My situation has really become extremely urgent. So I hope you can make this trip, but I can assure you that you are just going through the motions and nothing will happen to you. Lan Min really didn't expect Huo Linyuan to say such a thing. Does he want to abandon himself? You don't think I'm going to abandon you, do you? We've been together for so long, don't you trust me? You keep saying that you hope I can trust you, but you don't trust me now, do you think I can still trust you? But these words did not make Lan Ji feel at ease. After all, it was a police station. The last time Sunian got involved, it left a big psychological shadow on her. I really don't want to go now. But at this moment, Huo Linyuan spoke again, Sunian can go in, and Sunian can stay in there for so many days. Haven't you always wanted to surpass Sunian and prove that you are better than Sunian? Then what are you doing now? These words directly blocked Lan Min's words. Yes, Sunian. I can't be worse than Sunian. Jian'er, do you still question my heart? If you go in, I will definitely find a way to turn around. You have to know that we are one, and you will become the person I trust most in the world. These words completely stopped Lan Min from saying anything. Yes, she can't lose to Sunian. Must prove that she is better than Sunian. Linyuan, I will prove it to you. Prove that I am no worse than Sunian. Lan Min's eyes were firm. He immediately let go of Huo Linyuan. Jian'er, go ahead. Don't worry, I will definitely protect you. Have you forgotten the last time? Last time, I didn't let you get any harm, and I won't let you get any harm this time either of. I believe in you. I believe whatever you say. You are my man, my lover, and the father of the child in my belly. I know you will never hurt me. Okay, it's almost time. You'd better go. If you waste time like this, you will become a joke to others. You know, Sunian didn't have any ink marks when he was taken away. If Sunian and Sun Ying'er know that you so, then. Sure enough, after Lan Min heard this, his expression suddenly changed. Immediately, he quickly turned around and walked towards the police officer. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Which John Word. Chapter 1069. Chapter 1069. I feel like it's lowering my level. It is impossible for Lan Min not to be afraid. But I thought of Sunian. She could only insist on walking. Neither Sunian nor Lin Na took her seriously. I must take this opportunity to let them know that she, Lan Min, is not a simple person. And she also successfully met Sunian. Sunian stood up from the bed when he saw Lan Min. Lan Min, why are you here? What's wrong with you? My sister is so powerful that she actually made you enter the palace for the second time. Ha ha ha, I will definitely do it when I go back. I will praise my sister for being so awesome. These words made Lan Min's face suddenly darken. So Lan Min quickly said, Sunian, are you so proud now that you actually blamed me for the official seal? Do you have no choice but to behave like a mad dog? But Sunian was confused when he heard this. I don't know, Sunian, do you know that there is a saying that if you do evil, you will be punished? If you act like this, you will definitely receive retribution. These words really made Sunian even more confused. But Sunian was confused. But he has a good mind and reacted quickly. Don't you think I'm blaming all the official seal matters on you? Sunian laughed when he heard this. If I really did this, I wouldn't even be here. I was killed by you. Sunian's words were as contemptuous as they were. You. What am I? I'm just telling the truth, this matter has nothing to do with you. Sunian looked at Lan Min. Now this is really a bit fun. It's not just fun. Lan Ji entered the cage next to Luo Qian. But at this moment, Sunian spoke, police officer, I want to go out. Someone will come soon. The police officer was a little surprised when he saw Sunian making trouble. You must know that nothing has happened since Sunian came in. He is all honest. Miss Su, what's wrong with you? According to the law, if there is no evidence to prove my guilt, you can only lock me up for 48 hours. How many days have you detained me now? What evidence do you have? When Lan Min heard this, he became nervous. What does it mean? Could it be that Sunian was about to go out as soon as he came in? The police did not expect that Sunian would say such a thing. Meeting. Because in the eyes of the police, these are all things caused by their wealthy people. It's just a game. Anyway, Huo Linyuan gave them a lot of money. So it's really a bit bad for Sunian to be like this. For a while, the police really didn't know what to do. Miss Su, please wait a moment while I go to the top first. But Sunian's expression changed. What do you mean by asking for help? Don't you know this regulation? As a police officer, don't you know this legal provision? Then tell me, what is this place? Is it a vegetable market? Then tell me where your credibility lies. Do you have no so-called credibility at all? These words really made the police break out in cold sweat. But what else can be done? He really didn't know what to do, so he could only leave in a hurry. Sunian, are you unable to afford it? Have you given up? If you really do, then tell me directly. I won't laugh at you, Luo Qian said quickly. Luo Qian didn't expect Sunian to be like this. The task assigned to him by Huo Linyuan was to keep Sunian here. If Sunian leaves? I gave you a chance, but you didn't cherish it. Ha ha ha, Luo Qian, I really don't think it's interesting for you to fight me like this. I even feel that you are lowering my level. End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Which John Word. Chapter 1070. Chapter 1070. Don't talk nonsense if you don't understand the law. Luo Qian was really angry at these words and didn't know what to say. These words. I've given you a chance, but you didn't cherish it. You didn't know the 48-hour gap. Who did you blame? There's something wrong with your brain. Who did you blame? There was some sweating on Luo Qian's head. What he wants to say now, what he wants to say to redeem himself. But I don't know what to say. This, he really doesn't know. What do you mean by sweating like this? You don't know at all. Please, I'm a little woman and I know all about it, and haven't you ever watched some so-called TV series? You are really a bit, ugh. Luo Qian really didn't know what to say. At this moment, Lan Min's voice sounded, Sunian, you are just making excuses to delay time. If you don't have the courage, then just say it. Lan Min also knew that Luo Qian actually despised herself, so he and she thought this was a good opportunity. This is the perfect opportunity. It can be proved just right. Why should I have the courage? Why should this matter be related to this? This is the law. What do you mean? Who are you, Lan? Do you want to challenge the law? Do you want to change the law? If you are change the law, come on, fix it quickly. Sunian, it was obviously you who did it. What evidence do you have for what I did? I've been here for so long and you still don't have evidence. When Sunian said this, he couldn't help but sneer. In this case, it means what? It means you are useless, you are really rubbish. Luo Qian's head was dripping with sweat. I really didn't expect this. I really didn't expect it. What should we do now? If Sunian really goes out, then it's really. And didn't Lan Min come in? Didn't she keep saying that she came in because of the official seal? When she came in, didn't you find another suspect? In this case, of course I have to leave. At this point Sunian pretended to be helpless and sighed, since there are new suspects, then I can't stay here. There is no reason for me to stay here. Luo Qian thought about it, and this is indeed the truth. It seems like no matter what, there is no reason for Sunian to stay. At this moment Luo Qian thought, yes, you have violated my reputation, I can sue you. Hey, do you want to jump over the wall? Luo Qian thought he had found a way when he heard this. He then continued, what do you mean by jumping over the wall in a hurry? Sunian, don't talk nonsense. Just like you said, we are strict with the law. Yo, you are talking as if you are very familiar with the law. If you are really familiar with the law, don't you know that if I really infringe on your reputation, then it will be a civil lawsuit, not a criminal lawsuit? Litigation. Luo Qian. You don't even know this, how can you keep me here? Well, I'm leaving today, and even can't keep me here. Luo Qian really has a headache now. At the same time, I also feel a little resentful. What on earth is going on with this Lan Min? Why do you always hold back? Mingming Lan was doing well before he came in, and nothing happened. Why did this Lanzi come in and everything changed? Lan Min also felt the malice from Luo Qian. She didn't know what to say. This is not her fault, and those weaknesses are not caused by herself. Moreover, this Luo Qian is useless. He has been here for so long, and this Luo Qian is not even aware of the problem. End of this chapter.